Welcome to the L3 Apex Lounge. I'm Leanne Wann.
And I'm Dr. Simonsen. This is where real talk meets peak performance.
Now today we are talking about something that's quite close to our hearts, and it is the framework for success.
Yeah, it's the 301. Now we mentioned it last time, 301. What does that mean?
Well, this is the preparation that we use for any event, whether it's on the sports field, whether it's a boardroom meeting, whether it's running a motorsport event, whatever it is that we are trying to succeed at. This is the framework that we have created and used for years and years, and we're going to share it today. So 301. Keep it really simple. Now, 3 is the preparation. 3 days out from the event, start thinking about what you're going to do. And some of the key things that we do, whether it's a sports event, whether it's a business meeting, a lot of these things have the same results when given the same stimulus. So I treat an athlete just like I would treat a businessman in terms of focus and clarity and drive, capability, decision making, all of those sorts of things. So 3 days out, we start looking at, we've talked about it before, the importance of hydration. So looking at your water, increasing the water 3 days out so you are very hydrated. Looking at the food choices you are making, particularly for sports. If you want to do it, we want to look at carbohydrates, things like bananas, potatoes, kumara. For those of you, it's a sweet potato. What that does is we have it at night. It starts loading the muscle stores. It helps you sleep at night, so you're preparing to perform on that event day. 0 is?
0 is game day. That is when you are on. Now that's a critical one too, because your performance not only is geared from the 3 days before, but on that day you must make sure that the protocol and the framework that you use is actually gearing you up for the best possible performance on that day. So again, the hydration, the supplementation, the morning is critical. Getting you started well, that is critical.
Absolutely, and that is key, and it will be optimized based on the 3 days leading into it. And in fact, a lot of people think that what they do on the day will determine their performance. Not so much. It's the leading up to it, and then on the day you want to elicit the performance of or the result of focus and drive and concentration and clarity. Through food, we can do this with proteins like eggs, like a steak, like salmon, things like that for breakfast, which is what not normally our go-to. That will help elicit a performance response utilizing acetylcholine and dopamine. These are neurotransmitters of focus and drive.
Now, don't forget though, the 1 at the end of it all. Once you've done your thing and you've built yourself up and you've done the performance, whatever it is, the 1 at the end. Now, the 1 is your recovery. And mark my words, the recovery is super important, not just to deal with the amount of stress and the amount of hard work that you've done on the 3 and the 0 particularly. The 1 also gives you longevity. If you bugger up that 1, you're in trouble long term, right? So if you can recover in that 1 and make sure your protocol and your framework is good for that 1, the recovery is critical to long-term sustainability of stressful environments and high performance. So you can be at the apex of your performance, but only if you do the recovery.
Yes, and as you're saying, that 1 is so important, because over time, if you skip that 1, that recovery day, you start to degenerate. So performance gets slightly worse because the body is degrading. The brain is not functioning optimally. So if you focus on that recovery point, you're just going to slowly get better and better as you get older, and as you continue performing, things will get better for you. So some of the key things in recovery, and I say it to athletes and with businessmen again, if you have had a big event and the thing is to relax and have a drink or do something afterwards, that's great, but do something good for the body first. So if you have stressed the body either mentally or physically, then give it something good. Give it some good food. Give it some eggs. Give it some meat. Give it some foods and good nutrients that it can recover on. You want to look at maybe some supplementation. You want to look at some vitamin C. Vitamin C, actually, 3 grams of vitamin C will clear cortisol, so the stress hormone, very quickly after a stressful event. And that could be a stressful email or a boardroom meeting that didn't go so so well, or an athlete on the field. The 3 grams of vitamin C will actually elicit a positive recovery response. So that's something good to do too.
That is indeed. And the last thing today that we'll deal with is the sleep side of it. Now, I know we're going to go into detail in the next lounge about the sleep, but sleep is part of the recovery, and it's actually part of building up as well. So we'll deal with the sleep thing in the next
yeah, absolutely. And you're looking at sleep after that on your 0-1 time frame. Looking at that will actually help you perform and get back to status quo homeostasis far more quickly than if you kind of omit that from it. And actually interesting, Matthew Walker is like a sleep guru. I've been looking at his work, so have you actually, for a long time. The stats that comes out of his research and his work are incredible. And hence why we will spend an entire podcast and probably another 2, 3, 4 on sleep and strategies for sleep, because it's so imperative for longevity and health. I think one of the stats that Matthew Walker brought up was your incidence or increase of risk of cancer after a 4-hour sleep stint was so much greater. I can't think of the number, we'll get it in the next one. So much greater than somebody who got 8 hours of sleep.
That's right. Well, we'll deal with sleep at the next one. So join us again for the L3 Apex Lounge.